firstly, thanks everyone for joining us today on our webinar for supporting your Chromebook devices with Mobile Guardian. You would have seen we're running a webinar series now for all of the OSs that we actually manage and we're able to offer support for. We started with Android last week. We're moving into Chromebooks now. Just one second. We're moving into Chromebooks now, and then also into iOS devices as we move along. Sorry, I just want to let people in. Thanks, Nick, for doing that. And moving into iOS devices as we go through this over the next few weeks. So we're definitely, I mean, I'm super excited to be sharing some of these successes with the product that we've had, and, you know, the opportunity to introduce our solution to Chromebooks and, you know, helping schools and even organizations that deal with schools to be able to offer a product that's so well-rounded in a market that needs this right now. You know, I think the new normal is kind of defining where we're going with our devices and kind of the approach to schools, and being able to have a tool that can help a school get into a blended learning environment is becoming more and more important. And I think, you know, it's not just okay to manage devices anymore and just have something that can manage it, but to be able to effectively use these devices, you know, plug in classroom tools that allow teachers to actually see what's happening on devices, you know, when these devices go home, if they're one-to-one or school devices, as the school's trying to find a strategy to go with that, you know, how do we make sure that these devices are safe and the kids can't access content they're not supposed to? So, you know, the tools we've created are really starting to shine now on Chromebooks especially, and I'm really excited to introduce you to 3 of them today. And yeah, we'll be going on to that now. So firstly, I'm Dave. I'm the business development manager here at Mobile Guardian, and I'll kind of be taking you through. So, you know, if you do continue your journey with Mobile Guardian, you know, I'll be your first point of contact, setting up time to meet with me and actually, you know, expanding on what you're looking for and seeing how we can actually get involved. So I just want to jump in just to some housekeeping. So just on my side, just a reminder to please pop off your camera if it is on and your microphone during the webinar. Just a reminder that all questions will be answered at the end. So please feel free to submit them in the chat. Nick will be collating them, putting them in a document, and I'll run through them all at the end. And just a reminder that we are recording the webinar, so, you know, if you do need to reference it a bit later or you need to jump off at any time, it will be added to our YouTube channel, and we'll be sharing that all with you post-webinar. So just a quick little breakdown of what I'll be touching on today. So just a brief introduction to Mobile Guardian, who we are, where we've come from, and kind of how we've evolved our product. A very brief touch and live example of our MDM side, so what you can do in the admin console, some of the information that's available to you, and then going through 3 of the add-ons that I think can add such great value to these Chromebook devices and your school. One being the classroom management tool, which works very well with Google Classroom, and it's a great add-on product for teachers to be able to keep control and get a digital window into devices. The second part being our comprehensive web filter, which allows you to recreate your e-policies in the cloud. So no matter where these devices are, they're always adhering to specific policies. And then more importantly, I think it's becoming more and more important, and a bigger conversation is our linked parent dashboard, which is allowing parents and for you to be able to send devices home and allow parents to actually set up rules and filtering at home and different ways that devices can be used at home, you know, as they are going back. So it's a great tool that's becoming more and more relevant right now, because, you know, you as the school or the supplier, you know, you don't know what some parents want and what other parents want. So it's just allowing them to have a bit more control over that device and allow for a more effective management of this. And then obviously at the end, just a quick Q&A session and a conclusion. So yeah, let's jump straight in. What is Mobile Guardian? So Mobile Guardian is a cloud-based MDM, and it's been purpose-built for education. So it really allows schools the flexibility and the security needed in order to manage on-site and off-site devices. We've evolved this product with the guidance and insight of teachers and IT admins over the past decade, which has really allowed us to have a simple yet powerful tool that can be managed by just about anyone in the school. And, you know, just speaking on that, we have users that are IT admins, that are pretty much looking after the devices. And we have schools where, perhaps they don't have budget for a dedicated IT person, and teachers are maintaining this. So we've really tried to build a blended product that allows it allows a maths teacher to have some kind of control with ease of access and to be able to centrally manage devices. Not everyone, excuse me, not everyone's very comfortable working in Chrome console, and the Mobile Guardian admin dashboard is a good alternative to be able to allow someone that might not have that Chrome knowledge to still be able to effectively manage this. So a product's been evolved to try and take into account, every type of user that we might encounter. I think what's great about us as well, and it's becoming more relevant for schools that are maybe moving over to a Chromebook environment, is we're multi-OS. So we support Android, Chrome, as well as iOS and macOS. And what this means is, some schools, as they're transitioning from perhaps Android tablets or iOS or iPads, you still want to get some value out of those old devices. And with Mobile Guardian, specifically our dashboard, it gives you a tool that you can manage all these OSs within one dashboard. So you don't have to have one tool for the iPads and one tool for the Chromebooks, but most importantly, still get value from any technology that's being replaced. So it's just a great way also just centrally manage that. And then also our online support team. So, as you're getting set up, as you're getting going, we have a dedicated help desk that can assist you, with any issues that might come up, any kind of place you get stuck. We're always there. We also have a great knowledge base full of articles. If you're more inclined to do a bit more self-help and want to manage it yourself, our knowledge base is right there as well. And then you just have that added support of people sitting behind a desk, should you get stuck further down the line. And then more around what we offer. So the MDM falls part of our basic part of it, the nuts and bolts, everything that works in the background to make sure devices are secure, information's on hand, and it's always adhering to what you want it to do. But then we plug in the classroom side of it, which is giving teachers that digital window, allowing them to make use of these Chromebooks in class. It's all good and well going and buying Chromebooks, but you still need the teachers buying, and you still need teachers to be able to use these as a tool and not let them become a distraction. And it's just giving that control to teachers, and then also plugging in that web filter. So making sure that these devices, whether they're at Starbucks, whether they're at home, whether they're on a hotspot, they're always governed by your school policies and the way that you want them to be used. We've got a responsibility right now as we're giving out Chromebooks, or parents, you're moving into a maybe perhaps one-to-one model where parents are purchasing them. We've got a responsibility to make sure kids aren't exposed to things that they shouldn't be. We're encouraging this, and we need to make sure that this is always in place. And then if you're a district, or perhaps have multiple schools, we have a multi-school management district dashboard, which allows you to house your main district on top, and then schools underneath. So if you have 2 or 3 schools, you're able to effectively manage it from a high level or on an individual level, but it just gives you a nice dashboard to flick in between without having to log into 1 or 2 different dashboards. Very cool. And you can control district rules that apply down, and then each school can still have their own bespoke filtering, as you go along with it. And then most importantly, it's, in my opinion as well, the linked parent dashboard, taking Mobile Guardian home and getting your parents involved, because that is the most important. Once you've got parent buy-in, you've got parents managing themselves, it's going to make your life a million times easier. So I'm Dave, in case you don't know, and just from my side, I come from a managed service provider background, and I specialized in digital transformation. So businesses that are, perhaps going to the cloud, or perhaps have on-prem stuff, and managing that transition over, and, looking at schools and kind of where we're going with Chromebooks and devices. There's a great opportunity to mimic how it's done in the business world in schools, and make sure that that transition is effective. And I'm super excited to be involved with some schools that are starting this journey. So I'm going to jump into an intro for Mobile Guardian for Chromebooks, and just discuss 2 challenges that come up more often than not. And one of those has become more relevant now, which is, managing a blended school environment, and obviously using Chromebooks in class. So, it's no longer a case of, it's fine, the devices are at school, we've got a firewall and we're good to go. Nothing's going to happen because the students are connected to this. But all of a sudden, we've been pushed into a place where, okay, we actually do need to send devices home now because of COVID and anything that's happening. We need to carry on with our school year and try and make sure that kids are still having access to information they need, as well as still being able to continue with class as per normal. I think that's been the real challenge. And how do we keep that normality? How do we make sure that, number one, students are safe when they're browsing and whatever they're doing? And number two, how do we still use Chromebooks like they're in class? And how do we also make sure that when Chromebooks are in class, once we come back from where we are now into, whether that be school in class again, whether that be school at home, or whether that be a mixture of the two, how do we make sure that these devices aren't a distraction? And how do we get teachers buy-in? And I think a big part of how we help to resolve that and how we help to manage buy-in is linking up with Google for Education. And a big part of that is the ease of access and how we do it. So a lot of work, I'm sure everyone that's that's moving over to a Chromebook environment understands that, as you set up your Chrome console and your Google for Education console, and you want to make use of these devices, you got to purchase something, and it's called a different license everywhere in the world. Some of them call it CDM, Chrome Device Management. Some of them call it CEU, but it's buying a license that allows you to manage this and sync it to Mobile Guardian. So what's great about it is that once the setup work is done on the Chrome side, it's just a matter of actually syncing it over to Mobile Guardian, and then everything kicks in, and you're able to then start using Mobile Guardian in your school very, very quickly. So the setup part of it, there is that part where basically we link Chrome and Mobile Guardian. This then pulls information across, and you're ready to go. You're ready to flick on Mobile Guardian Classroom and actually start using it. So we put a lot of effort into making it as easy as possible to get going once your Chrome side's set up, and having that communication between Chrome and Mobile Guardian is very important, because the two of them are working together to provide this robust solution. Mobile Guardian then extends on this Chrome partnership or Chrome existence by implementing time-based profiles. So I'll touch on that a bit later, which is, when devices are at school, they can be used a certain way. Perhaps when devices go home, they can also be used a certain way. So at school, you don't want YouTube, for example, and you don't want kids having access to go look at Fortnite and so on. When they're there, they can't use it that way. When this device leaves the school and goes home after a certain time, or once it detects it's not in the school geolocation, essentially it will go into a more relaxed state, which will allow kids to maybe go on YouTube, go and surf the internet a bit more, but safe in the knowledge that they still can't be exposed to pornography, violent content, and so on. You still have that level of control. Even, like I said, even if they're at home at Starbucks on a hotspot, it's always going to apply this. Another important part of this is device location tracking. Now that these devices are going home, we need to make sure that we're always on top of where they are, who's got them, and if a device goes missing, what was the last notification, so we can hand this information over and you can take that. So just to have that insight quickly on hand is becoming more and more invaluable. And then obviously the classroom tools, which is allowing you to keep that control and get that digital window into what's happening on these student devices, and plugging in web filter to that. And I think a very cool part of what you'll see is with how the web filter plugs into Classroom to allow teachers to actually build effective lessons and whitelist websites that they might need. So just take some of that pressure off of your IT admin. So yeah, I'm excited. So I'm going to jump into a live demo of the admin console. Like I mentioned, this is going to be quite brief on this side. This is the nuts and bolts. This is the part that just works in the background. And you might find that some of it you prefer to do in Chrome console, some of it you might prefer to do in Mobile Guardian. It's entirely up to you, but you'll see some of the information that is available here. So if I jump in here, and once you've logged in through the website, you've got your portal set up, you'll land on what we call our dashboard. And the dashboard is just a quick place to get some high-level information quickly about what's happening on these devices. So you can see here, If it's important for the school to see what websites are being visited, what are the OS versions, and what's being blocked, you can just quickly get a snapshot into this and then take a deep dive if you need to. But it's also great for maybe a principal just to get an understanding of what's going on. The principal doesn't need to know device information. She just wants to know what are they browsing, what is the inappropriate content that's being browsed, and she can then take it further from there. So you can see here, for example, blocked websites, whatever they were trying to do here, and it's fully customizable. You can pretty much design it how you would like to and anything else that you would. So it's very cool, very nice for just that quick information. So what I was talking about syncing G Suite with Mobile Guardian is with something called a JSON file. So if any of you are familiar with Chrome, this is how we actually go about creating that link between Google and Mobile Guardian. It's a little bit of a process, but we've got a technical resource called Fawad that will be assisting during this transition and getting you guys set up. And once this sync is in place, you can actually even sync up Google Classroom as well as your OUs to Mobile Guardian. So you can see here, when you bring data across, you'll see here that whatever OUs you have in place, you'll select them and then sync them down, and it'll actually pull this information straight down and pull whatever students you have, and then also link it to whatever device that they're signed into, or if they're going to sign in, it'll then complete this link. So I just wanted to show you here quickly what it looks like in a multi-OS environment. You can see I've got a couple Chromebooks, I've got an Android phone, and I've got an iOS device on here. But I just want to jump into this Chromebook just to show you some of the information that you have on hand during this. So you can see right now I'm in Cape Town, South Africa, right close to the beach, and you can see exactly in real time where this device is. You can also get some insight into the serial number, the IMEI number, the PIN that's required if you want to get access to settings, for example. And let's say, for example, a device goes missing. You've just got this information on hand. You're very quickly able to lodge an insurance claim or something like that, or send it over to the police if you need to. This is all on hand. You also have insight into applications on this device. So let's say, for example, you have specific apps that you want kids to use, and this one, students complaining that they can't find it, you can quickly jump into the device application snapshot, see what's missing. It'll actually give you an alert if that is missing. You can then sync it, and you can even take it a step further and say, pop a message down to the student, please check if it's working. And this will then pop a message down. It'll come to this Chromebook next to me, and it'll say, please check and let me know if it's working. So you've got a few ways to be able to manage this remotely, with these devices going home. To be able to do that's very, very important. You can even disable the device if it does go missing. So it just gives you that extra bit of control to keep that communication up. You can also see browser history on this device. So if you see here, for example, what is this device doing, and also most importantly, who is browsing this information, because it's not, if someone else uses the device or someone else logs in and they go look at something inappropriate, the action needs to be taken against the user and not the device or whatever the device was. So you'll have that information. That'll also ping through to Kate's profile, and you'll be able to access it from there. And then, like I mentioned earlier, just having a look at the location where this device has been and where it's been moving around to in the event that something does happen. So like I said, this is just a brief touch on the admin dashboard just to show you some of the functionality and how it works within Mobile Guardian. And I think what is important just to remember here, and some of the features to support your Chromebooks, is the centralized device management, the location trackage, student browser and device browser analytics, lockdown of devices in case it does go missing, that one-to-one messaging to be able to check your applications, and then right at the bottom as well, central application management. So just being able to manage apps from the cloud and push down any changes that you would like to. So you can see it's very, very, very simple tool to allow someone just to get that information on hand and have that. Perhaps your principal isn't comfortable in Chrome console, you can at least give them access to Mobile Guardian and yourself, and you're able to then build up that kind of level of reporting through Mobile Guardian that they can then use. So this is where it gets super, super exciting in my opinion, our classroom management tool. And what Mobile Guardian Classroom Manager is, It's not a tool to replace Google Classroom if you use it. It's a tool to work with Google Classroom. So if you have Google Classroom and you make use of it, you can use these two together and use Classroom for facilitating lessons and lesson plans and everything like that. But Mobile Guardian, the Mobile Guardian Classroom tool, is allowing teachers to be able to actually make use of these Chromebooks and keep control of Chromebooks in class. Even if you don't have Classroom, you can still make use of the Mobile Guardian Classroom tool. You can build lessons within that as well, but it does work really well when you combine the two. And what's even better is if you have classes set up and teachers have put the work in, you can actually sync it over to Mobile Guardian. They don't have to go and redo all the work. It'll pull everything down, how the kids are in specific classes, and it will replicate that for you, which is awesome. So there's no need to duplicate the work and get teachers to have to do it again. So I'm going to go and jump into this and actually give you a small little live demo of what this looks like. If you just give me a second, I'm just going to switch over. And I think this is where you're really going to see the value of what Mobile Guardian brings to the classroom, number one, and also brings to the teacher and ultimately the students as well. So if I just jump into a class that I've created here called 7th grade history, I can get a snapshot into who's in this class right now. And what I'm going to do now is actually start a class with Kate. I've got a Chromebook sitting here next to me. And I'm going to go ahead, start this class. I want it to land on Google. And just give it a second. So what's going to happen on the device side here is there's going to be a pop-up that says, hey, please join this class. And please share your screen. So just give me 1 second. Just to get everything going. What is going on? There we go. Sorry. So you can see here now, I actually get a live view as a teacher into what's happening on this device in real time. So what this means is teacher can now see exactly what students doing on this. So if you're in a classroom environment and you've got 15 laptops or Chromebooks staring at you, you know it's impossible for the teacher to know what's going on each of these devices. Once all students have joined and it automatically shares the screen, you'll have 15 windows here that will allow you to see what each student is doing. And what that does is it gives teacher the opportunity to very quickly see who's not on task and who is on task. So if we're having a classroom here and everyone's on Wikipedia, for example, I just want to jump in here, and everyone's in Wikipedia, I can very quickly see and manage a student that is off task. So if this user is on Epic Games looking at Fortnite, I'll very quickly see, hey, Kate, what are you doing? And then I've got a number of ways I can manage this as a teacher. Firstly, I can give the child the opportunity to self-manage and pop them a message and say, off Fortnite, for example. This will then send a message down to the device and the student will know, okay, I've been caught or whatever, and I shouldn't be on here. Teacher knows I'm on here, and they can then go. If Kate continues to carry on, teacher can also take actions with that. She can simply just jump on and push Kate to where she needs to be and go ahead and actually manage that tab and close it herself. So it's just those extra bit of tools just to keep everyone on track, to keep students in line where they need to be, and even better, to help keep the flow of lessons. So let's say teacher just wants to get everyone onto Wikipedia, for example, wikipedia.org. You can actually do this from a single device, so you can do it just for one device like this, or you can select the entire class and actually manage tabs and send it out for the entire class here and add tabs. So it really helps with continuity within a lesson and keeping students on track. Another cool feature, and I think what was born out of quite a necessity of, there might be a point of the lesson where teacher needs to teach something up front, and she needs the students to look up front, and kids need to close their Chromebooks. What happens then? Some devices go to sleep, some devices lock. When the time comes to open them, you're going to waste a few minutes of getting everyone logged in and trying to get everyone up. We've got a feature called Eyes Up. And what Eyes Up does is it actually puts the device into a locked state that allows teachers then to facilitate that need. So you can I'm trying to hit escape and get out of here. but it's got this device and a lock, and it allows the teacher to actually manage and provide a lesson. But even a step further, I look at it, a disruptive student. If she's busy with another student and this student is being disruptive, you can very quickly just lock their computer down. Within a minute or two, go and take whatever action you need to, and then come back and put the device into eyes down, and you'll see very quickly, bam, the device is active again, and teacher can go on. And it's also a great tool for blended learning environment for a student that's perhaps not paying attention, just to block the device down, because it'll still play audio and you can still at least teach in that sense. I think where these last two things is what really sells it for me. I've heard a lot from teachers in a sense that, we struggle sometimes to get all the students onto one web page and to push out links through Google Meet or through whatever messaging channel. They've got to send links out and hope the students, or ask everyone to go on Wikipedia and then go find the article. Our push content to device is designed exactly for that. So teacher can pre-populate this and actually push websites, predefined websites, down to these devices and get them where they need to be. So if you have a look there, I've just pushed it down, bam, the device is now where I want it to be and on the article that I need it to be. So you can see it's just everything that's designed is to help the teacher make better use of these devices, but also keep the continuity of these lessons. So that is the tools that are there to help teacher keep control of the class whilst during lesson time and everything like that. But we've also incorporated two other features which are quite cool, which is allowing teachers to actually make use of the web filter in class and whitelist and even blacklist websites during the lesson. So what that means is, let's say YouTube is blocked within the school, but the teacher would like to get access to YouTube during the lesson. She can whitelist YouTube for this lesson and then allow the kids to use it. And as soon as lesson's done and they leave the class, all the other blacklisting rules come back into play and they won't be able to access YouTube. And where this came from was, admins that have been inundated with requests. Hey, can you please just give me access to this website? Can you please give me access to that? Can you please whitelist this or blacklist this? It's giving teachers the power to be able to self-manage now and actually do this as they need for lessons. So they can pre-plan this by blocking any categories that they want. It links up to the whitelist and blacklist, and even a step further of blocking specific applications or allowing specific applications for this class. So if she just wants them to use specific applications, she can control this and configure this before the lesson. When the lesson starts, it then applies these rules and we're good to go. So it's really trying to empower the teachers to really make use of these Chromebooks and make it work how they would like it to work. Another part of it is, how do we retroactively manage devices? And we're also, we put some thought into allow teacher to be able to do this perhaps when class is over. It's not always possible for the teacher to see exactly what everyone is doing at all times, but our activity timeline actually gives the teacher a brief snapshot of what was happening. So here they were on the Epic Games website, here they were on Wikipedia, and it just gives a very quick snapshot into what happened. And you can even take that a step further and go into Kate's profile. And if you do need to manage this later, the teacher no longer has to go to the IT admin and say, please, can you go give me a snapshot of what Kate was doing in class? She can just go in, take a snapshot, bang, send it off to principal, and self-manage it from there. So this is a very, very powerful tool for teachers and schools, especially now as we're transitioning into a more of a blended learning environment, to give power back to the teacher and most effectively make the most of the investment out of these Chromebooks and get the most out of them. So that's quite a brief little intro into classroom management. There's obviously training that goes into that, and we're here to help you with that training part of it. Most importantly out of that is live screen views, tab control and push to device, direct student-teacher messaging. Just on that, at this stage, it is just teacher to student. There's no option for students to be able to reply. That is coming down the road, but for now, it's just direct messaging from teacher to student, the eyes up feature, and access to student browser analytics. So that's our one add-on, which is very powerful. And then the second one now is our premium web filtering. And what that is it's allowing you to take any browsing policies, any way that you want devices to be able to access the internet, and put this in the cloud and make sure that wherever these devices go, that they're always protected and the kids aren't exposed to information or websites that they shouldn't be. Now, I'm quickly going to jump into the profile section where you actually build these rules and restrictions and how you can apply it down to devices, and go through the two different options that we have here. So you would go into your admin dashboard, into profiles, obviously your conditional profiles as you build them. For this, I'll just jump into my baseline, jump into save content, and this is our comprehensive web filter. And we've broken this into two products. Web filter standard, which gives access to the Mobile Guardian browser and safe, and allows you to enable safe browsing and the web filter, and that gives you access to the general settings here, where you can control also what applications can be installed and everything, as well as the whitelist and the blacklist. And this allows every school to really create an environment that they want. You know, it's impossible for us to know every single school, how it works and what's important, but yeah, you're able to define categories that you want to blacklist. You can see I'm quite strict with my school, and you can see things in here like alternative lifestyle, gambling, investing, criminal skills. You can pretty much whitelist and blacklist as you need to. But what you might find is as you start and as you build these, it might block a lot more than what you wanted to do. And as you can then build this and whitelist websites that are needed. So perhaps if you block file sharing, that might block your G drive, for example. You can just get them to request access, and then you as the administrator can just jump in, quickly action this and whitelist or blacklist and see. I'm still yet to see a student require access for Pornhub. If they do, yeah, I'm sure you know what to do with them when they do that. So that falls under the standard web filter. Our premium web filter gives you access to two other options. Firstly being the YouTube filter. And what's great about YouTube is that I'm sure you can understand that it really does add value to schools. You know, being able to make use of YouTube, there's educational content on there. There is stuff that are value, but there's also a lot of nonsense on YouTube that you perhaps don't want to expose the kids to. What the YouTube filter allows you to do is actually filter and build a YouTube experience tailored for your school. So you can see here, if you want to only whitelist education, you can do that, but you can also build, if you don't want kids to go on to news and politics and people and blogs and activism, you can control the YouTube experience through the app or through the browser by setting this up. You can block channels. So if you don't like Jake Paul, get rid of him. You can add it there, get it blocked, or even just whitelist specific videos, and you can really control that experience for YouTube within the school while still getting the value of what it provides. And then I think the most important part here, especially in the APAC region, is our keyword filter. And I think this tool is so powerful in what it can do. And it's taken another step in the APAC region, as we're now able to filter for single and double byte characters. So it's allowing schools in those regions to actually build filters bespoke to their region and actually be able to filter single and double byte characters, which is, I think, quite unique to us at this stage, at least. I think we're the only ones that can actually provide that right now across the OSs, which is great. And then most importantly as well with keyword filtering is it allows you to build an experience for yourself where you might not want to block a total website, but you might want to block parts of it. So what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, you want kids to have access to CNN or the CNN website, but you don't want them to be able to see things about terrorism or, you know, anything that they shouldn't be seeing. You can actually filter a word like terrorism, terrorist, and what it'll do is on that website, if they try and access any article where it picks up those keywords, it'll block them, but still give them access to the rest of the website to be able to do that. So it's a really, really cool feature to be able to build that unique environment and that unique type of filtering to your school with the added benefit of single and double byte characters now. So, you know, the premium web filter is really taken a step ahead in your idea of what cloud-based filtering looks like. So we're very excited about that. And schools that are starting to make use of it are really starting to see the value of that as we start to implement it. So keep going the wrong way. So you can see here just some of the features to support learning with this is obviously we can filter by website category and URL. YouTube channels, playlists, and double byte and single byte characters with the keyword filter. You can also blacklist and whitelist on the fly. But most importantly, uphold your e-safety policy. And this is also going to give teachers access to be able to whitelist and blacklist within their classes. And then you'll see another part where the filter comes in is the linked parent dashboard that I'm going to jump onto now, and kind of how parents can now start taking advantage of this. So I'm going to jump very quickly into this because it's still something that is becoming a bigger conversation, but I think it still holds great value in this, and that's our Mobile Guardian linked parent dashboard. So it's essentially taking the functionality of Mobile Guardian home. And what that looks like is, if I jump in here to the parent dashboard, with your MDM part of the licensing, so with the Mobile Guardian MDM, this functionality actually comes built in with that to allow parents to actually be able to manage these devices at home. So what you'll do is you'll get your parents to go onto the Mobile Guardian website, register, and then actually link the device with the school. You'll have a school code, and then this will allow the device to link between the school and when this device is at home. So you can see here, it just gives the parents some information on where this device is right now. So if you have a look here, I don't actually live in a stream. I live right over there, but Google says I live in a stream. But you can see here that where this device is right now, exactly what it's doing. But most importantly, it allows parents to actually build their own whitelists and blacklists. So you can go in here and they can then build filters for themselves. If you have the YouTube filter, they can even make access or have access to the YouTube filter and use it how they want to. So you can see here, the parent doesn't want any of this at only specific websites. They can take that functionality home and allow them to build a bespoke filtering for themselves. You know, once again, it's impossible for you as the school to be able to know what every parent wants and how every parent's different. Some want to be stricter, some want to be more lenient. This is giving them that tool to be able to build that at home, and most importantly, make sure the kids are still safe and can't access what they can. But where this really shines, in my opinion, is the ability to create rules. And what rules are and what rules give parents, if I just jump in here, is time to create specific periods on how these devices can be used. So you can have, for example, between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock, it's homework time, and these devices can only be used to access Wikipedia, Classroom, and the classroom tools that come with it. You can actually control that and create a profile excuse me, that can be built and locked down very strictly. And you can see if I enable this, I can say here that I only want them to have access to Google Classroom and Wikipedia, and you can lock these devices so there's no distractions. You can even take it further and say, if it's bedtime, and build up a nighttime filter, you can say, when it hits 10 o'clock, I want this device to block all traffic. I don't want any traffic going through this device. So I know come 10 o'clock, child isn't in bed going and on YouTube until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You can build a rule that allows the device to stop working after 10 o'clock and then just be safe in the knowledge that the child is also not browsing what they shouldn't be at any time. You can also just get some nice insight as a parent on this device, you know, what's been happening on here. So if I just go, I'm just pushing anything. If I go here, I can see what this device has been used for, what they're trying to search. The parent just gets some insight while this device is at home, what the child's doing, and allows them to manage that. So it really is a tool to enable and empower parents right now and get them involved and get them more working more with the school and with their kids to make sure that their online environment is always secure. So just some points on that is it allows parents to control usage. You can have bespoke filtering tailor-made for any family. You can create rules, so homework time, sleep time, and all that. And it's also scalable. Sorry, my dog's doing a bit of whining there. It's also scalable. So you can start off with a group of parents, for example, and say, okay, we're going to start with 10 families, see how it works, work it out. And from there, great, off we go. And it then continues. So very, very cool tool, becoming more and more important now in this new environment. And obviously getting this going and giving this tool, you as the school, you know, carry more weight if you're trying to also get parents to perhaps pay for these tools, having the access to this gives you that ammunition to be able to perhaps get that over the line. So yeah, that is a very brief introduction to Chrome. I think I went a bit longer than I should have, but I'm so excited about these tools, and I'm so excited on how they really make a difference in schools that, sometimes it's hard to try and bring and break it down and only pick a few things. There's so much more to go through. There's so much more I can unpack. But, I understand everyone's got time, but I'm always open. And I'm going to encourage you after this to go to Mobile Guardian's website. We actually offer a 14-day trial for this. So you'll be able to trial the web filter. You'll be able to trial classroom management. You just head over, hit free trial, sign up here through US and rest of the world or whatever location you're in, and you're able to actually sign up, get a feel for it. If 14 days isn't enough and you need some more time, schedule some time with me. We're always open to proof of concepts and maybe let you run an extra week to get a proper feel and to get everything and running out, especially now when schools might be closed in your region, or if you're planning on going back. Now's the perfect time to test this and see how it feels and then move. Because once that work's done, it's just a matter of saying, cool, we want the other 1,000 devices, let's go. And you can bring it straight over. So I'm always available to chat. I'm going to encourage you to reach out to me if you do. Every school is unique. I would love to understand your setup of your school, and I'd love to be able to assist where I can and get you guys on that track to, a great Chromebook environment, and a Chromebook environment that has advantages for students, parents, teachers, and the IT admins. We've already built a well-rounded tool here, and I'm very excited to engage with some of you on this and see kind of where we are. So let me jump then into some of the questions. Just give me a moment. I'm just going to get it loaded. 1 second. Right. How does it go if the students are using a hotspot or on their phone and VPN? So how the profile works is it works with it applies the profile to the student and not the device. So it doesn't matter if the student's on a hotspot, it doesn't matter how they're connected or how the device is connected, it is keeping control via the student. So the profile always applies to the student and not the device. So it doesn't matter if they're on a VPN, it's always going to apply these restrictions. I mean, you can go as far as to even disable incognito mode in the Chrome console. If that isn't an issue, you can disable allowing students to create VPNs, for example. So there are ways to manage that. But just on that question, it applies restrictions to the student profile and not the device. Can it be used for iPads, Macs, and PCs? Great question. So like I mentioned in the beginning, we do offer products for iPads, so iOS, macOS, and Android. And unfortunately, right now, we don't have a product for PCs. I see that was a question that just came up. We don't have a product for PCs, but you are able to manage the Chrome browser on a PC. So yeah, right now it isn't on our roadmap, but it is something that we are looking at developing a bit later down the line. If a website, example YouTube, is blocked at a network, firewall level, can Mobile Guardian bypass it and allow access during the class? So if it's blocked at a firewall level, hang on, I've gone blank now. If it's blocked at a firewall level, can Mobile Guardian bypass and allow access during class? If it's blocked at the firewall level, no, it won't. We won't be able to bypass that. And the reason for that is, you can imagine your internet's coming in through the firewall. So before it's even reached the device, we're not able to apply anything until it's come through the firewall. So if it is blocked at the firewall level, then Mobile Guardian won't be able to bypass it on that side. Unfortunately, you'll have to just set that up on your end, because the firewall sits right where the information comes in. Once it comes in, obviously, it goes through a router to the device, and that's when Mobile Guardian applies it. So in that instance, we won't be able to bypass YouTube. Can the parent override policy set up by school? If answer yes, any way to force to prevent it? No, it can't. So there's no way parent policies can override policies from the school. that pushes down from the baseline profile that is always there. So there's no way for a parent to accidentally disable something. If you don't want it there and it's like that, you can always force it from your end. The parents can't do it. Cool. And then I think there was a last question: would there be integration with Windows in the future? Answered that before. So no, not this stage, not right now, but it is something that we are looking at to perhaps in the early new year. But I think for us, we're a Google education partner, and we're very much focused on Chromebooks right now and getting Chromebooks up and running, as well as iOS and Android. So for now, we're quite focused on getting Android to away and getting Androids in school and helping schools with this. So that's where a lot of our focus is right now. Let me just check here. Just one last thing. So if any of you are interested in perhaps getting some more information or booking some time with me, please drop your email in the chat now. Nick will grab them for me, and then I'll pop you a mail probably today or early tomorrow to arrange some time. So we're always keen to engage with anyone that just wants to maybe have a more in-depth demo, or a demo that with some more examples. I'm always happy to do that. Please drop your email in the chat, and we'll certainly get back to you as quick as we can. Let me just check here. Any other questions? Cool. Thank you so much. Cool. Thanks, Ruby. Cool. So I think that's that, guys. Thank you very much for your time today. Please drop your email in the chat for Nick to capture if you'd like me to reach out today or tomorrow. Alternatively, my email will be sent out after this. Please reach out to me. I'd love to be able to have a chat. So thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing some trials coming through on Mobile Guardian and seeing you guys actually start making use of it. Have a great day, everyone.